Before I call upon General Sangwan to deliver the keynote address, I would like to say a few words about him. Lieutenant General Sukhdeep Sangwan is a distinguished soldier whose celebrated career spanning 4 decades has been marked by exceptional service and accolades. Throughout his distinguished military career, General Sangwan has been recognized for his outstanding contributions to our nation. He has been twice awarded the prestigious presidential medals for distinguished service, the Param Vishisht Seva Medal and the Ati Vishisht Seva Medal. Additionally, he has received the Sena Medal twice and a commendation card showcasing his unwavering commitment and dedication to his duties. Beyond his remarkable military achievements, General Sangwan is a versatile individual with a passion for literature. He has authored a book titled Integrated Force Projection by India and contributed to another work on comprehensive national power. In 2021, his book titled Random Thoughts was released. Currently, General Sangwan serves as a visiting faculty at one of the esteemed Indian Institute of Management. His knowledge and experience have made him a sought-after speaker, and he has delivered numerous lectures and talks on a wide range of topics from border management to building and sustaining corporate things, image, VUCA world, and leadership. He has graced prestigious institutions such as IAS Academy, Labasna, various IIMs, NTPC, IBMS, ICFAI, Yantra India Limited, and Army institutions with his insightful presentations. We are truly fortunate to have General Sangwan here with us today. May I request General Sangwan to kindly deliver the keynote address.
Jai Hind and good morning, everybody. That sets the stage for the day. Because if you speak that way, that means I am very convinced that you all are ready to receive what we are going to speak. Because if you're not ready to receive, there's no point for us to speak. At the outset, allow me this privilege of thanking Dr. Mahapatra, the DG, for inviting me over here. It was a bolt from the blue. It was a surprise for me to be invited all of a sudden for a keynote address when he told me that I have to come and deliver a keynote address. I was thrilled, mighty thrilled, for 2 reasons. First, he wanted me to do something which is hitherto is the forte of only the women folk, to deliver. And now when I was to prepare and come here deliver, I realized it's not an easy job. It's hell of a job to prepare and come and deliver in front of people who nurture fetus of thought, whose youthful age, who are living their daily life with flights of imagination, who are the one who are on the cusp of transition into the digital and digitized world. What will I speak with? Thankfully, I've got my cap on with no hair left on my head. What will I speak before you all? So it was a challenge. It was a challenge for me, yet I accepted it. And I'm grateful that I'm here because of the JKBS. And I'll go back with rich memories, I have no doubt in that. I'll be flashing few slides, I'll take you through the slides. Because the subject, no, it's not working. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay now, it's working. And I also happy, second reason was that I was to speak on a subject which is close to my heart. 4 decades, any army officer, any army jawan, any army soldier, this is what we do. Resilience, we are tested, our resilience is tested day in and day out. Thank you, sir, thank you. And to be standing before the youth to talk on resilience through the prism of defense forces was a very happy thought for me. And while you all know what resilience is, and while you are expecting that I'll narrate some stories on the defense forces or the army or the paramilitary forces, that may not be true, because that is something which we'll share subsequently over a cup of tea also. But here I would like to share something more with you, something which we in defense forces also try and imbibe from the various elements of the society that makes us resilient. Just to take everybody on board, what resilience actually is. Let's be on the same platform. It's basically power to keep going. It is that power which keeps us going. And what is that power? What is resilience? It gives you that strength to power through the storm. Mind you, power through the storm and still keep the sails steady. We can power through the storm. Tomorrow you are in an organization, in an establishment, in an entity, even if it's a unicorn. You may be able to sail through. You may be able to get out of that entity and go and pick up a better job. But if that ship is sunk, that means you're not resilient. If your organization was sunk, that means you're not resilient. Because corporate is what? Corporate is basically teamwork, it's team building. So you have to be resilient. And how do you do that? For doing that, for being resilient, you have to ensure that first of all, you got to shed your fear. That fear of failure has to be shed, that fear of being unsuccessful, that fear of the public, your family, your colleagues, your society telling you, "Ye kya kar diya?" That has to be shed. You have to be convinced. You have to realign your thoughts. You have to bounce back, you have to fight back, you have to realign your thoughts. And realign your thoughts for what? To surmount that challenge. That challenge has to be surmounted. And that is what resilience is. Such a simple thing. And it's not that we have not seen. When we see this resilient society around us, we only tend to ignore it. If we don't ignore it, we'll learn a lot. So I will take you through certain stories of resilient India. I am a big propounder of taking examples from India and not examples from the Western world alone. There are enough examples. But let's look inwards. Let's look into the examples of our own country where we have seen the resilience. Why are we called as a resilient nation? We may not be the best as far as a resilient nation is concerned, the index is concerned. But we are a resilient nation and we are a great society. We are a resilient society. You go to foreign country, after 15 days you come back and say, "Nahi yaar, jaisa bhi hai, apna hi theek hai. Jo bhi hota hai, we are happy in our country only." Why? Because there's an acceptance here. So that is the resilience. And why? Why do I say this? I'll take you back to certain examples of resilience. We are just riding on the success of Chandrayaan. We are happy we got a flag flying at moon now. But go back to 1963. Those of you who read science or those of you who are fond of general knowledge, it was in 1963 that Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he established the first rocket station at Tumba. Do you know how it was established? There's hardly anything. The rockets, the Rohini which was launched, the rockets were moved, parts were moved on the cycles and bullock carts. That is resilience. They were moved on this kind of a thing. There was no place, there was no land, there was no space for them to establish a center. And you know who were there? Dr. Homi Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, and I would say, dare say now, above all, Abdul Kalam Azad. So they were the ones, they proved that we have resilient scientists who with zero kind of infrastructure can establish a rocket station. And I have highlighted that word resilient society. Why do I say resilient society? You'll be surprised how it was established. They identified this place because, why? Some people will ask why Tumba was chosen when there was no establishment, there was nothing there. That is the place where equatorial magnet was there. That's the magnetism. There's a field of magnetism is there. So that is the reason this was selected. And what was there? Lo and behold, there was a church there and few buildings there where the church staff was there. So imagine Dr. Abdul Kalam and Vikram Sarabhai, they went and interacted with the bishop there, what we popularly called as the father. They went and requested him, "Can you accommodate us in this church or houses around, because we got to establish a rocket station of India." And he said, "This society around here is Christians. They revere our religious sentiments. So can you come and attend the Sunday Mass?" And he called them over to the Sunday Mass. They went there. He narrated the entire thing. And on the Sunday Mass, the end statement was that since they have come here to do something for our great nation, to establish a rocket station, we offer them this church building. We offer them this church building, and he offered his own quarters. And he also offered them land, 600 acres of land from the fishermen. Imagine a Muslim, Abdul Kalam Azad, asking Christians to give land for a country which is establishing, a country which is dominated by Hindus, to establish their rocket. That is a resilient society. That is India we live in. That is a story of resilience. And today we have Vikram Sarabhai Center, and you know what exactly we've achieved. Year after year we are achieving. Not an issue. The next example I'll give you. Dr. Abdul Kalam himself. You see, when our missile program was coming up, the rest of the world, who were already missile giants, they came out with a bright, and one more thing I'll miss out. This center was established when we were just into 16 years into our independence. 16 years into independence, and we established the rocket station with zero facilities. That was the resilience. And now Dr. Abdul Kalam. When we were denied components, crucial components of missiles because of the MTCR, those of you who have read MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, we were denied the parts. We couldn't import them. And he decided that we will make missiles indigenously. And every part which was to be imported was thereafter manufactured in 1980s in India, our own India. And we today have surface to air, surface to surface, underground. Every kind of missile, whether it is BrahMos, Agni, Prithvi, Nag, every missile is being made here. That is the resilience of our scientists. That is resilient India. This is a story you must read as corporate students. Read the story of the Metro Man of India. How did he establish the metro network in the country? What did he have? The land had not been acquired when the metro network started in Delhi. He had the backing of the central and the state government. He had the backing of himself. He had the self-belief in him. I hope you know who is the Metro Man of India. I hope. Sridharan. So not only Delhi, now rest of the country, all metros today proudly boast of metro networks. This is the resilience. Doesn't matter, we don't have the metro engines. Doesn't matter, we don't have the bogies. We'll import them. But we will have our own metro network in the country today. And most of all, the challenge was to transform that society which is used to sitting in the buses and smoking beedis and cigarettes. How to tell them not to spit in the metro, not to light the cigarettes in the metro. How to adopt this change, the change management which you read. That was done. That is resilient India. That is resilience. That is what you have to see. Not very many will proudly say and boast of that we are the only country in the world which has wiped out one of the most notorious insurgencies, and coupled with that the militancy. They are two different things. In Punjab, because the resilience of two gentlemen, J.F. Ribeiro and K.P.S. Gill, they came on. We were almost on the verge of losing the grain bowl of India. Khalistan started looking like a reality to happen. Pakistan had pumped in everything which they had in their hand and minds. And these two gentlemen, they came and they promised to the government and to the nation that we will ensure that the militancy is wiped out, the insurgency is wiped out. And all those things which we don't have time, how it was done, why it was done, how we could achieve. And then a nexus or an understanding was established with Indian Army and the police. And today, Punjab is back. It is not, I would say, not trotting back, it is galloping. Nobody can say that few years back Punjab was in that state. You would not even, some of you were not even born, I think. We have seen that Punjab. So that is the resilience of our police. That is the resilience of our society. That is the resilience of our farmers who could fight back. That is the resilience. Now let's gravitate into the defense forces. Our resilience, our patience, our calmness, our national character was being tested by Pakistan. It was being tested by Pakistan in 1947-48. They attacked us. We were just recovering from the shocks of partition. We threw them out. We launched our battalion by air and we threw them out from Srinagar. They tried it again in 1965. While we were wanting to focus towards the development, we were wanting to focus towards green revolution, white revolution, we were wanting to focus towards IITs, IIMs, it was dragging us back and it didn't budge. It got a lesson from us in 1965 and yet raised its head again in 1971. So what is resilience? It's basically to surmount the challenge, and this is a time now to surmount the challenge called as Pakistan. And there was a gentleman called Manekshaw. We dictated, we means the military dictated to the political government that this is the time we want to go, this is the area we want to go, and this is how we will go. And that go-ahead was given. And not only did we prove that Indian military is resilient, Indian nation is resilient, we divided Pakistan into two halves. भूगोल बदल के रख दिया हमने, बांग्लादेश नक्शे पे रच दिया. That is resilience. That is bouncing back. And since then, it is only you keep bleeding us through 1,000 cuts. In the bargain, we are reaching moon and you yourself are bleeding. This is our resilience. Similarly, the stories are far too many. I had brought in some videos and unfortunately it's not working. What happens in China, on Chinese border? Most of my service has been on the line of actual control, LAC along China. Chinese keep coming, they keep trying and asserting themselves at various places. We are resilient, our soldiers are resilient. And just to tell them and show them their place, we deliberately started putting our lieutenants in front of them. That you come with your force, our lieutenants are good enough to take care of you. You will not be allowed a single inch to step in Sikkim or Arunachal. We didn't allow that. Those lieutenants, they handle them, they push them back. Military diplomacy, we calm them down, cool them down to the extent that while they insist, when we have something like, we are okay for time, I hope. We have something called as a border meeting, just to share with you. On the border meeting, what happens, everything which happens there in military diplomacy has to be cleared at the highest level. And the highest level, when I say, in our case, it is the Military Operations Directorate, that is the Army Headquarters, and the MEA. These borders are managed by MEA. And I hope you know, take back this also for whatever worth. Who is responsible for managing the Indian borders? Which ministry? Which ministry? Anyone? Ministry of Home Affairs. And you ignore them, you discount them, nobody questions them. It's only Indian Army is questioned or Ministry of Defense is questioned. The borders is the responsibility of Ministry of Home. Okay, border management entails three things, friends. One is border guarding, then is border defense, and third is border management. What Army does is number two, border defense. What Home Ministry has to do is border guarding. That is where we have Assam Rifles, we have ITBP, we have BSF, CRPF. So that is what it is. So what I was narrating to you is we do what we want to do. That is the resilience we show, that let's do what we want to do. They want to be served cakes and biscuits when they interact with us on tea. And we decided to serve them churma and jalebi. And we succeeded in doing that. And I proudly say today they come and eat churma and jalebi served by us, because they said you'll have to eat what we eat and not what you want. So that is resilient India. That is the military diplomacy. That is what we do. And not only that, we have now started, we have reached a stage wherein whenever the commander changes, they request, if there is a change, they request, please start serving back those jalebis only. And I'm from Haryana, we are sitting in Haryana. I proudly say those Haryanas are those of you who have eaten these jalebis of Gohana, those thick ones, those are the jalebis which we serve them. I said that is the kind of resilience you have to show in the face of the enemy. That is the resilience. Just to narrate a personal story with you, a story of militancy. We were in J&K and we were basically looking for a terrorist leader who had been away for almost 2 years. He had evaded the Indian Army, the unit before us could not apprehend. So we set a target for ourselves that within 6 months we ought to get this character. And we put some young officers on the task. And one day we had a source who came back and told us, sir, I confirm that militant will be coming to his house. They call it a dhok and he will be in a dhok. Dhok is a small little hut in the jungles. So we went, we treaded. It was a 8 hours journey up and down. We spent 48 hours of ambush there waiting for him. It was raining also that day and this gentleman didn't come. We came back. We came back again, 8-9 hours, walked back after 3 days of operations, and now this source came back again. He says, sir, he will come now tomorrow. Definitely he's coming. Now comes the resilience and the decision making and the endurance. All terms which you can put in your management were tested at that moment. The leadership, the decision making, everything. So we decided now if he is taking us back now, maybe he is luring us, trapping us, he may be a double agent. So decision was, let it be, doesn't matter. We couldn't catch him 2 years, let him go now also. And then the leadership issue came in because I was officiating commanding officer that time. The decision was, if I don't go now, my commanding officer was on leave, I was the second in command. Something came in my mind that my subordinates, they will think कि I have cowed down, I have chickened out. कि अब थक गए हैं, तो ऐसी साहब अब नहीं जा सकते हैं, so let's drop this idea. On my mind was playing that now with this tired lot of 20 people who have been awake for last 72 hours, should I go back? And if we are ambushed and if we lose lives, what will happen? But we had to surmount certain challenges, and this decision making itself was a challenge. Anyway, I took a decision, we will go, but this time we will not go on the route which he had told us. We will take a longer route which was almost 12 hours of walk. It's difficult to motivate people who are already tired, who want to go by a shorter route now to take them 12 hours. We went back 12 hours. And I proudly say, we got that chap, and that is the cleanest operation of my service, wherein we knocked down a terrorist with a single bullet. And that single bullet was by one officer who later on became my Colonel MS. That single bullet was bang here like we do tilak. So that is the kind of resilience which we say. If you are resilient, we had targeted 6 months, we got him in 3 months. But those 3 months were hectic. They tested our patience, they tested our resolve. But we ultimately succeeded because we were to take, he was a challenge for us. We were to surmount that challenge. And after him, that whole area, I will name it here, that is known as Buddhal and Mahor area, Rajouri. Sir would know it. There is no militancy, no insurgency because he was the main kingpin there. And we neutralized that area. So that is the kind of thing. What you see on the slide now is the Indian Blade Runner, another story of a military resilience. Kargil War, this gentleman, Major D.P. Singh, he lost his foot in enemy shelling. In the enemy shelling, he lost his foot and he was presumably declared dead. Not declared, I would say. He was presumed to be dead when he was taken to the hospital. Other casualties were being taken care and he was profusely bleeding. And people thought he is in any case dead, so let's attend to those who are likely to survive. Dead ko to theek hai, he is dead. And suddenly he moved. And thereafter he was taken care, he was evacuated. His leg was amputed. He was asked, because you have to sign a consent form for operations. He said, sir, why one? Even if you want both my legs to be removed, remove them, but send me back on the front. I'll go there, I am still capable of doing it. So this leg was removed. And he had to be boarded out. He came out. And after coming back, he adopted this blade running. Today he is the world famous blade runner. Not only does he run himself, all those amputees who are volunteers, he runs with them. And this is what he does. And after having run in the normal terrain, he now goes and runs in high altitude areas where oxygen contents are low. It's a rare medium as far as air is concerned. He runs there. And now he's decided to take on the motorcycle rally also. All in the mountains. That is resilience. He says, you can't put me down. I'm a soldier. I'll continue to do soldiery in those areas and motivate our soldiers. Just a small clip. Just listen to him what he has for you. Just a small message. We'll just run it. Can you just press it? No. You'll have to press the... He just leaves us some message for you, and that message is same what I told you in the beginning also. Shed your fears. If you shed your fears, you will bounce back. If you can bounce back, sky is the limit.
Commissioned in 97 December and 15th of July 99 I got injured. To me, it was never that something wrong has happened with me. If I wish to be independent, then I have to, do a lot of activities which is actually out of my comfort zone.
see, in army we have a saying that if you prepare for war,
So being a Fauji, it was always at back
just
of my
pause it,
mind
it's
that
not
how do
working,
I
doesn't
run?
matter. When you prepare for war, you think
First
all
marathon
options
which
which
I
the
did,
enemy is likely to take.
2009.
You feel he may come and attack us from here, he may come and attack us from here, 3, 4, 5 directions. But be rest assured, it is the fifth one. If you've chosen 4, it is the fifth one which he will take. So I never thought at the last moment this video clip will not work here. Otherwise I would have noted down what he wanted to convey. Nothing great, but basically that don't have fear. Fear is the biggest enemy. You will be resilient if you shed fear. And second thing I would like to mention to you is invest in social capital. When you invest in social capital, they are the ones. What is corporate? What is management? It's a social capital. It's a team building. It's a team activity. If you have a good social capital where you can fall back on those people during the emergency, during the crisis moment, yeah, you can play it here only instead of going full screen. Yeah, lucky. No, he's clicked on the, I think he's gone on the net. Not on the net, it's on the slide, only extract, not this one. Anyway, it comes through good enough. I'll leave this presentation here in your own times. You can see we'll not upset the whole time schedule. Yeah, this one, that one. No, okay, leave it. So social capital is something where you have to work on, because that is the social capital which will see you through when you fall back on those kind of students or colleagues or your people who are working with you. Once you fall, please stop it. It's not relevant now. Just stop it. So that will add to your capability of handling your resilience. As far as the theoretical aspects of resilience are concerned, I will not like to delve or venture into it. It will be naive on my part, with the faculty sitting here, with the having mastery on the subject of management, and resilience constitutes one of them. I will not venture into that. I'll leave that. So I'll just conclude by sharing with you my personal example of resilience, and not to glorify myself, but to tell you the heavens don't fall, the life does not end if you have determination, and if you have a social capital, not necessarily your friends, but somebody who can hold your hand. I was just 2.5 years into my service career. I was a young captain and I suffered a spinal injury. And I was bedridden. I'll cut it short. I was not only bedridden, I was in wheelchair with my right leg paralytic. And I was a short service commissioned officer. That means after 5 years, there's no way that I could continue. I would have been thrown out. So it was all dark before me. Started preparing for HCS, IS examinations, and having lost all interest in life. And I had a doctor, my surgeon, God bless his soul, Colonel Mundkur. He was a lieutenant colonel that time. He used to come every day. 6 months I was in hospital. Every day he would come. And he told me, he says, you are a challenge for me, youngster. Young officers, we call them as youngster. He says, Captain Sahab, you are a challenge for me. I am an orthopedic surgeon. Firstly, I have decided not to operate you. Because I operate you on a spine at 24 years of age, your whole life is gone. Second is, I want to treat you and put you back in shape. One, I want to see you walking on this thing. You have to be with me. Don't lose heart. You will never think of leaving army. He motivated me. And every day, I remember on Diwali as well as Holi, these two festivals came in during those 6 months. He had almost half an hour with me that I want to celebrate the festival with you. That is the social capital, I would say, on which I was banking on. And after 3 years, I became Shape 1. I became Shape 1 and I got my regular commission. And I rang him up. He says, whenever you do anything now, don't be, they use a word called Fanne Khan. Don't be Fanne Khan. Ki ab theek ho gaye hain, but spine injury is not easy to cure that fast. He said, whatever you do, ask me before doing it. And then I told him, I said, sir, now is the time, volunteers are being asked for Siachen Glacier. Can I volunteer? He says, are you sure? I said, yes, sir, I'm sure. He says, go there, but don't show that bravado. don't outsmart your own capabilities, but by all means opt. I opted for Siachen Glacier, and I went there, I served there. And after that, there was never a looking back. And he told me, he says, now that you have served in the most difficult area, you will never stop in your life. And by God's grace, I reached the highest rank which we aspire to reach. Because not everybody can become general, he would know. So I reached this rank. And I remembered and always used to speak to him, say, it was you who made me believe in myself, my capabilities. It was you who told me that you can surmount the challenges. It was you who told me that if you are resilient yourself, the world is with you. Wherever I went, my unit was with me. They never allowed me to do something wherein I could again sink back. And they carried me through. And here I am before you. All these things we would have carried on, but time doesn't permit. I leave it with you all. Thank you very much. Nice interacting with you all. Grateful. Thanks.